time in your busy lives for sitting in these seats, for choosing to lean in instead of leaning out. I see you. I see the ambition in your eyes, the quiet hunger in your posture. And yes, I see the doubt too, the part of you that wonders if tonight will be any different from all the other nights you've spent hoping for more. Let me start with a simple question that cuts straight to the bone. Why is it that most people never succeed? Not just in business or career, but in life itself. Why do so many of us set out with fire in our bellies, dreams that feel electric, only to wake up years later wondering where it all went? Why do the majority of people live lives of quiet desperation, as if success were reserved for some lucky few who were born with a secret the rest of us never got? I'm not here to sugarcoat. I'm not here to give you a quick fix or a 3-step formula that will magically transform your life by Monday. I'm here to tell you the truth, the raw, uncomfortable truth that most speakers won't touch because it's easier to sell hope than to confront reality. Most people never succeed because they are playing the wrong game. They are chasing the wrong things in the wrong way, and they don't even realize it. They think success is about working harder, grinding longer, out hustling everyone else. They believe if they just follow the right strategy, read the right books, attend the right seminars, the doors will fly open. But here's what they miss. The game was never designed for them to win that way. The rules they're following were written by a system that benefits from their exhaustion, their distraction, their quiet surrender. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a room full of people just like this one, each holding a map. Some maps are detailed, filled with timelines and checklists and milestones. Others are vague sketches with arrows pointing toward more money or bigger house or fancy title. They study their maps every day. They update them. They compare them with their neighbors. But almost none of them have ever stopped to ask, why am I even going where this map says? Why does this destination matter to me in the first place? And because they never ask that question, they spend their entire lives walking in circles, wondering why the scenery never changes. That's the first reason most people never succeed. They have no why. They have goals, sure. They have ambitions. They have vision boards plastered with pictures of yachts and luxury cars and perfect bodies. But a goal without a why is just a wish dressed up in motivational quotes. A why is the deep, unshakable reason that gets you out of bed when the alarm goes off and the world feels heavy. It's the purpose that survives failure, rejection, and sleepless nights. It's the invisible force that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Most people never find it because they were never taught to look for it. From the moment we're children, society trains us to focus on what and how. What do you want to be when you grow up? How are you going to get there? Study hard, get good grades, get the job, climb the ladder. But nobody ever sits us down and says, before you decide what to do, decide why it matters. I'll tell you a story, not from a textbook, not from some billionaire's memoir, but from real life, the kind of life you and I live every day. I once knew a man named Alex, smart guy, driven. He built a small marketing agency from nothing, worked 18-hour days for years. Clients loved him, revenue climbed. On paper, he was succeeding, but every morning he woke up with this hollow feeling like he was running on a treadmill that someone else had set to maximum speed. He hit every target, closed every deal, but the joy was gone. One day he looked at his team, 20 talented people who trusted him, and realized he couldn't remember the last time he had asked them why they showed up. He couldn't remember his own why. So he did something radical. He shut the agency down for a week, gathered everyone, and said, we're not here to make money this week. We're here to remember why we exist. They talked, they fought, they cried. And in the middle of that mess, Alex rediscovered something he had buried under deadlines and deliverables. His why was to help small businesses tell stories that actually mattered, to give voice to the underdogs who were changing their communities one customer at a time. That why didn't change the work. It changed everything about the work. Revenue didn't just climb, it exploded because people weren't just working for Alex anymore. They were working for something bigger than themselves. Alex didn't become successful because he worked harder. He became successful because he finally started with why. But here's where it gets painful. Most people never have that moment. They keep chasing the next promotion, the next paycheck, the next dopamine hit from social media likes. And they wonder why fulfillment feels like a mirage in the desert. They are playing a finite game in an infinite world. Let me explain what I mean by that, because this is one of the most important distinctions you will ever hear. In a finite game, there are clear rules, clear winners and losers, and the game ends. Think of a football match. 60 minutes on the clock, final whistle blows, scoreboard tells you who won. Society has trained us to treat life like that football match. Get the degree by 22, land the job by 25, buy the house by 30, hit 6 figures by 40, retire at 65. Scoreboard, game over. But life isn't a finite game. Life is infinite. There is no final whistle. There is no universal scoreboard. The only way to win is to keep playing in a way that makes the game worth playing burnout because they are keeping score in a game that has no end. They compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. They measure their worth by quarterly results instead of lifetime impact. And when the inevitable setbacks come, because they always do, they quit. They tell themselves they weren't cut out for it. They weren't lucky enough. They weren't smart enough. The truth, they were playing the wrong game. Let me ask you something right now, right here, in this moment. How many of you have ever felt that quiet panic at 2 a.m. when you realize another year has passed and you're no closer to where you thought you'd be? Raise your hand if that's you. I see those hands. I've been there too.
Yeah.
That panic isn't laziness. It's your soul screaming at you that you're playing a finite game with your infinite life. And your soul knows better. The second reason most people never succeed is fear, not the loud, dramatic fear of jumping out of airplanes. The quiet, insidious fear that whispers in your ear every single day. Fear of judgment. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of failing in public. Fear that if you go all in and still don't make it, you'll have to admit to yourself and everyone else that you weren't enough. That fear is so powerful because it's invisible. It dresses itself up as practicality. Be realistic, it says. Don't quit your day job. Play it safe. And we listen. We stay in jobs we hate because the paycheck is comfortable. We stay in relationships that drain us because being alone feels scarier than being unhappy. We keep our ideas small because big ideas invite big criticism. And slowly, year after year, that fear turns our potential into regret. I want you to think about the Wright brothers for a second, not because they invented the airplane, but because of what they were up against. Two bicycle mechanics with no formal training, no government funding, no university degrees. The so-called experts said it was impossible. The newspapers mocked them. But they had a why so strong that fear couldn't touch it. They weren't trying to beat anyone. They weren't trying to get rich quick. They believed human beings were meant to fly, and that belief carried them through every crash, every broken wing, every moment of doubt. Most people would have quit after the first failure. They didn't. Why? Because their why was bigger than their fear. That brings me to the third reason most people never succeed. They are surrounded by the wrong people. Or worse, they are surrounded by the right people, but in the wrong environment. You've heard the saying that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's true, but it's incomplete. It's not just about who you spend time with. It's about whether those people are committed to playing the infinite game with you. Most environments, most workplaces, most social circles, most even family dynamics are built on finite rules. Win at all costs. Look good on paper. Protect your turf. In those environments, trust erodes. People stop taking risks. Innovation dies. And eventually, even the most talented individuals start shrinking to fit the room. I've seen companies where the leader stood in front of the team every quarter and talked only about numbers, profits, targets, bonuses. And the team delivered the numbers right up until the day they didn't. Burnout, turnover, quiet quitting. But I've also seen leaders who stood in front of their teams and said, our why is to make people's lives a little bit better every single day. The numbers matter, but they're the result of living our why, not the reason we exist. Those teams didn't just hit targets. They shattered them. Because when people feel safe, when they feel they belong to something bigger than themselves, they will run through walls for you. They will stay late, not because they have to, but because they want to. That's the power of environment. Most people never succeed because they never build or find an environment where their why can breathe. Now let me turn this around, because I didn't come here to leave you in the dark. I came here to light a fire. The question isn't just why most people never succeed. The real question is, how can you be different? How can you break the pattern that has claimed so many before you? The answer is simpler than you think, but it demands everything you've got. First, you must discover your why. Not what you do, not how you do it, why you do it. And I don't mean some fluffy mission statement you can hang on a wall. I mean the gut level reason that makes you cry when you talk about it. The reason that keeps you going when logic says stop. How do you find it? You look backward. You look at the moments in your life when you felt most alive, most fulfilled, most like the person you were meant to be. What were you doing? Who were you with? What value were you creating? For Alex, it was giving voice to the underdogs. For the Wright brothers, it was proving humanity could touch the sky. For you, it might be something completely different. Maybe your why is to raise children who know they are enough. Maybe it's to build technology that heals instead of divides. Maybe it's to create art that makes people feel less alone. Whatever it is, it has to be bigger than you, because a why that is only about you will eventually run out of fuel. Once you have your why, you must live it every single day. Not just on the good days, not just when it's convenient. Every single day. That means making decisions through the lens of your why. It means surrounding yourself with people who share it, or at least respect it. It means saying no to opportunities that look good on paper but feel wrong in your soul. It means being willing to be misunderstood, criticized, even laughed adopt an infinite mindset. Stop keeping score against other people. Start keeping score against yourself yesterday. Are you a little better today than you were last week? Are you contributing more? Are you building something that will outlast you? In an infinite game, the goal is not to win. The goal is to keep playing and to make sure the game is worth playing for everyone involved. That changes how you lead. That changes how you parent. That changes how you show up in the world. Third, you must create safety for yourself and for others. When people feel safe, they innovate. When people feel safe, they speak truth. When people feel safe, they give their best. Safety doesn't mean comfort. It means the confidence that if you fall, someone will help you up, not because they have to, but because they believe in the same why you do. Build teams, families, friendships where people know they belong, where their contribution matters, where their voice is heard. And finally, and this is the part that separates the few from the many, you must be willing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term impact. Most people won't do that. They want the promotion now, the money now, the recognition now. But the people who truly succeed, the ones who look back at the end of their lives and say, I lived, they understand that real success is measured in decades, not quarters. They plant trees whose shade they will never sit under. They invest in relationships that don't pay immediate dividends. They stay the course when everyone else bails. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Imagine it's 10 years from now. You walk into a room just like this one. But this time, you're not sitting in the audience. You're standing on this stage, and the person introducing you says, this is the man or woman who decided to be different. They talk about the company you built, the lives you changed, the legacy you left. But more than that, they talk about how you showed up every day with a why so clear it inspired everyone around you. How you refused to play small. How you created safety in a world that often feels dangerous. How you played the infinite game and won, not by beating others, but by lifting them. Now open your eyes. That future is not a fantasy. It is a choice. It is available to every single person in this room tonight. Not because you're smarter or luckier or more talented than anyone else, but because you are willing to do what most people won't. Start with why, live with courage, and refuse to quit the game that matters. Most people never succeed because they never decide to be different. They drift. They settle. They follow the map someone else drew for them. But you have a choice right now. You can walk out of here tonight the same person who walked in, or you can walk out with a fire that no one can extinguish. You can go home and make a list of all the reasons why it's too late, or you can go home and make a list of all the reasons why your why is worth it. The world doesn't need more people who are good at what they do. The world needs more people who are unstoppable because they know why they do it. The world needs more leaders who understand that people don't follow titles or paychecks, they follow purpose. The world needs more parents who raise children who ask why before they ask how. The world needs more of you, the real you, the version that refuses to shrink. So here's my challenge to you as you leave this room tonight. Before you go to sleep, before you check your phone one last time, before you let the noise of the world drown out this moment, ask yourself one question: what is my why? Write it down. Say it out loud. Share it with someone who matters. And then tomorrow morning, wake up and make one decision, one single decision. That proves you are different. Maybe it's reaching out to that person you've been meaning to mentor. Maybe it's finally starting that project you've been afraid of. Maybe it's looking your team in the eye and telling them why you show up every day. Because here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud: success isn't rare because talent is rare. Success isn't rare because opportunity is rare. Success is rare because courage is rare. The courage to stand for something bigger than yourself. The courage to keep playing when the scoreboard says you're losing. The courage to build something that matters even when no one is watching. You have that courage. I know you do. I can feel it in this room right now. It's humming in the air between us. So don't waste it. Don't let another year slip by while you wait for permission or perfect conditions. The conditions will never be perfect. The permission will never come from the outside. It has to come from you. Most people never succeed, but you are not most people. You are the one who will look back 10 years from now and say, I was different. I started with why. I played the infinite game. I built safety. I lived on purpose. And when you do, the world will be better for it. Your family will be better for it. Your team will be better for it. And most importantly, you will be better for it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for choosing to be here. Now go out there and be the exception. Go out there and prove that you were always meant to succeed, not because you followed the rules, but because you finally understood why the game exists in the first place. Real success demands daily courage to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term impact. Most people choose convenience and drift into regret. But the different few consistently choose discomfort today to create a legacy worth remembering tomorrow. Think about it for a second. Right now, in this very moment, as you sit here listening to me, how many of you have a dream, a project, waking up an hour earlier to work on that business idea. Maybe it's having that difficult conversation with your boss or your partner. Maybe it's saying no to another late night scroll on your phone so you can read something that actually stretches your mind. These small choices don't feel like life or death decisions in the moment. They feel like harmless little comforts. But over time, they compound into something massive. They compound into a life that looks safe on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. Most people never succeed because they have made comfort their highest priority. They want the reward without the resistance. They want the body without the sweat, the income without the risk, the respect without the responsibility, the depth without the discipline. And society is more than happy to sell them that illusion. Every advertisement, every notification, every trending video whispers the same seductive message. You deserve ease right now. You deserve to feel good immediately. So they hit snooze. They order the takeout. They stay in the job that pays the bills but slowly kills their soul. They choose the path of least resistance, telling themselves they'll start tomorrow or next month or when the kids are older or when the economy gets better. But tomorrow becomes next year and next year becomes never. And one day they wake up wondering where all the time went, carrying a quiet regret that no amount of distraction can silence. I want you to really feel this with me. Close your eyes for just a moment and picture two roads diverging in front of you. One road is wide, smooth, and beautifully lit. It's comfortable. There are rest stops every few miles offering snacks, entertainment, and instant gratification. Everyone around you is walking on this road. They're laughing, scrolling, complaining about the same things, settling for the same mediocrity. It feels familiar. It feels safe. But if you look far enough down that road, you see it gradually narrowing, the lights dimming, the ladder fading into silence until it ends at a place called I wish I had. Now look at the other road. It's narrower. The ground is uneven. There are hills that make your legs burn and storms that test your resolve. Fewer people are walking here. Some days it feels lonely. But every step forward, no matter how hard, brings you closer to a horizon that keeps expanding with possibility. This is the road of daily courage. This is the road where short-term discomfort is willingly embraced because the long-term impact matters more than today's ease. The people who choose this second road understand something profound. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Every time you choose comfort over courage, you are voting for the version of yourself that stays small. Every time you delay that workout, postpone that difficult decision, or avoid that vulnerable conversation, you are reinforcing the neural pathways that say, stay safe, stay average. Your brain is literally being rewired for mediocrity. And the scary part, it happens so gradually that you don't even notice until years have passed and the gap between who you are and who you could have been feels impossibly wide. Let me tell you about a woman I met a few years ago named Sarah. She was a talented graphic designer working in a stable corporate job, good salary, decent benefits, nice colleagues. On paper, everything looked fine. But every evening she would come home and open her laptop to work on her real passion, creating children's books that taught kids about resilience and self-worth. She had dozens of sketches, half-written stories, and a heart full of ideas. Friends would ask her, when are you going to publish one? And she would smile and say, soon. When I have more time, when the kids are a bit older, when I feel ready. Years went by. The corporate job became more demanding. The kids grew busier. The soon never arrived. One day she looked at her folder of unfinished manuscripts and felt a wave of sadness so heavy it brought her to tears. She realized she had traded her dream for the comfort of a predictable paycheck and the approval of people who didn't even know her deepest desires. Sarah chose convenience every single day, and it slowly drifted her into regret. She didn't fail because she lacked talent. She didn't fail because the market was too competitive. She failed because she never found the daily courage to sacrifice the immediate comfort of, I'll do it later, for the long-term impact of actually doing it now. Contrast that with another person I know. Let's call him Michael. Michael worked a full-time job in construction, physically exhausting work, long hours, dirty hands. But every single morning, before the sun came up, he would wake up at 40:30 a.m. and spend 90 minutes writing, not because he felt inspired, not because it was easy. Most mornings he felt tired and unmotivated. But he had decided that his why, creating stories that helped working class men feel seen and understood, was more important than another hour of sleep. He sacrificed comfort consistently. He wrote on weekends when his friends were watching football. He wrote after long shifts when his body screamed for rest. He said no to overtime opportunities that would have brought extra money but taken away his writing time. It took him 7 years. 7 years of daily discomfort before his first book was published. But when it came out, it resonated so deeply that it spread through factories, construction sites, and blue-collar communities like wildfire. Today, Michael has multiple books, a loyal readership, and the deep satisfaction of knowing he created something that outlasts him. He didn't wait for the perfect conditions. He created the conditions through daily courage. see again and again. The few who succeed are not necessarily more talented, more intelligent, or luckier. They are simply willing to do what most people are not, pay the price in advance. They understand that every meaningful achievement demands a currency called discomfort, and they are willing to spend it generously. They go to the gym when they don't feel like it. They study when Netflix is calling. They save money when spending feels better. They have hard conversations when silence would be easier. They invest time in their relationships when work deadlines are screaming. They keep showing up long after the initial excitement has worn off. Why does this matter so much? Because life is not a sprint. It is a long, winding journey made up of thousands upon thousands of tiny decisions. Each decision is like a brick. You can lay bricks of comfort, easy, quick, immediately satisfying, or you can lay bricks of courage, sometimes heavy, sometimes painful, but incredibly strong. Over time, those bricks build two very different houses. One is fragile, beautiful on the surface, but quick to crumble when storms come. The other is solid, perhaps less flashy at first, but capable of standing for generations. Most people are building the fragile house without realizing it. They want the mansion of success, but keep laying bricks of convenience. Then they wonder why everything falls apart when life inevitably tests them. Let's talk about what daily courage actually looks like in practice, because I don't want to leave you with beautiful ideas that stay in this room. Daily courage is waking up and choosing to meditate for 10 minutes, even though your mind wanders and it feels pointless. It's choosing to write that first awkward draft of your business plan instead of waiting until you know more. It's choosing to eat the healthy meal you prepared instead of ordering the comfort food that calls your name. It's choosing to listen deeply to your child when you're exhausted instead of zoning out on your phone. It's choosing to learn a new skill when scrolling feels more relaxing. It's choosing to invest in your future self when your present self wants immediate pleasure. These choices don't feel heroic in the moment. They feel ordinary. Sometimes they feel annoying, but they are the exact choices that separate those who drift into regret from those who build legacies worth remembering. The different few don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the perfect mood or the perfect circumstances. They have trained themselves to act in spite of how they feel. They have made discomfort their friend rather than their enemy. They understand that the pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons. Consider the compound effect of these small daily sacrifices. If you choose discomfort for just 1% better effort each day, waking up 15 minutes earlier, reading 10 extra pages, making one additional outreach, saving a small amount more, that 1% compounds over time in ways that feel almost magical. In 1 year, you are not just 1% better, you are 37 times better in certain areas because of exponential growth. Most people never experience this because they want massive results immediately. They want to run a marathon without training for it. They want to build a business without making the daily uncomfortable calls. They want deep relationships without the daily uncomfortable vulnerability. And when the big results don't come quickly, they quit and blame external factors. The ones who succeed understand that the magic is not in the big dramatic moments. The magic is in the quiet, consistent, often invisible choices made when no one is watching. It's the author who writes 500 words every morning for years before anyone reads a single page. It's the entrepreneur who makes 50 sales calls a day, even when the first 49 say no. It's the parent who chooses patience instead of anger for the thousandth time. It's the athlete who does the extra set when everyone else has gone home. These are not glamorous acts. They don't get likes or applause, but they build the kind of character and capability that eventually becomes undeniable. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds exhausting. I already work hard. I already have responsibilities. How can I possibly add more discomfort to my life? And that's a fair question. The answer is not to add more to an already overflowing plate. The answer is to replace. Replace mindless scrolling with intentional learning. Replace complaining with problem solving. Replace avoidance with action. Replace, I'll do it later, with I'm doing it now. You don't need more time. You need more courage in the time you already have. You need to stop negotiating with your weaker self and start leading yourself with the stronger version that already exists inside you. Every human being has two versions living inside them, the version that wants comfort and the version that wants growth. The one you feed is the one that grows stronger. Every time you choose comfort, you feed the smaller version. Every time you choose courage, you feed the greater version. Over months and years, one version becomes dominant. Most people let the comfort version win by default because it's louder in the short term. The different few consciously starve the comfort version and nourish the courageous one until it becomes their natural way of being. Look at any person you admire, someone who has built something meaningful, touched lives, or left a positive mark on the world. I guarantee you they have a story of sacrifice. They have nights they wanted to quit but didn't. They have moments they chose the harder right over the easier wrong. They have seasons they said no to good opportunities because those opportunities didn't align with their long-term impact. Their success was not handed to them. It was earned through thousands of small, daily acts of courage that no one saw. The public celebrates their achievements, but the real story is written in the private moments of discipline and discomfort. This is why most people never succeed. Not because they lack dreams, but because they lack the daily courage to protect and pursue those dreams when it's inconvenient. They let comfort seduce them into smallness. They let fear of short-term pain prevent long-term gain. They trade their future legacy for present ease, and then wonder why life feels so ordinary. But you can be different. You can decide, starting today, that discomfort is no longer the enemy, but the price of admission to a life that matters. You can begin making one small, courageous choice each day. Maybe it's finally starting that side project you've been thinking about for years. Maybe it's reaching out to repair a strained relationship. Maybe it's committing to a fitness routine even when motivation is zero. Maybe it's dedicating time each week to learning something that will serve your future self. Whatever it is, make it non-negotiable. Tie it to your why. Remind yourself every single morning why the discomfort is worth it. The beautiful thing about choosing discomfort daily is that it gets easier over time, not because the acts become less challenging, but because you become stronger. Your tolerance for discomfort expands. What once felt impossible becomes normal. What once drained you now energizes you. You start to crave the growth edge. You start to feel alive in a way that comfort seekers never experience. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, your life begins to transform. Opportunities appear. Confidence grows. Impact multiplies. People are drawn to your energy because they can sense someone who is living on purpose. This is how legacies are built. Not in grand gestures, but in the accumulation of countless daily decisions to choose courage over convenience. The different few understand that real success is not about never feeling discomfort. It's about never letting discomfort stop them. They keep moving forward even when it's hard. They keep creating even when inspiration is missing. They keep giving even when they feel empty. They keep believing even when results are slow. Because they know that the long-term impact, the lives changed, the problems solved, the love given, the example set, is worth every ounce of short-term sacrifice. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can choose the wide, comfortable road that leads to regret, or you can choose the narrower road of courage that leads to a legacy worth remembering. Most people will choose comfort today and tomorrow and the day after. But you, the one who wants to be different, can choose differently. You can choose to pay the price today so that your tomorrow carries meaning. You can choose to do the hard things when they matter most. You can choose to build something that outlasts your own comfort. The question is not whether discomfort will come. It always does. The question is whether you will let it define you or whether you will use it to refine you. The different few don't avoid discomfort. They embrace it as the necessary forge that shapes them into who they are meant to become. They don't seek easy paths, they seek meaningful ones. And in doing so, they create lives, careers, families, and contributions that echo far beyond their own lifetime. This daily courage is available to every single person in this room. It doesn't require superhuman willpower or perfect circumstances. It only requires the decision to stop negotiating with comfort and start leading with purpose. It requires remembering that every small sacrifice you make today is an investment in the person you are becoming tomorrow. It requires trusting that the long game is worth playing, even when the short term feels heavy. So as you move through your days and weeks ahead, pay attention to those quiet moments of decision. When the alarm goes off and your bed feels warm, when the difficult task stares at you and distraction calls, when fear whispers that it's okay to wait, remember this truth. Real success demands daily courage to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term impact. Most people will choose convenience, but you can choose differently. You can choose discomfort today so that your life tomorrow becomes a legacy that truly matters. The few who succeed don't do it because life was easier for them. They succeed because they were willing to make it harder on themselves in the right ways, at the right times, for the right reasons. They didn't wait for motivation. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They created momentum through consistent, courageous action even when it hurt. And over time, that momentum carried them to places most people only dream about. You have the same opportunity right now. In your work, in your relationships, in your health, in your personal growth. Every area of life is waiting for you to bring this daily courage. The discomfort you feel today when you choose the harder path is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the price you pay for a future that feels deeply fulfilling instead of quietly disappointing. It is the bridge between